What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. We are your hosts, Chase and Myles, and we are at the Lucky Duck. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching on YouTube. Welcome. Yeah.
The end.
Cool. Shortest podcast ever. Just kidding. Cheers. Everybody. Miles, what do we... Cheers. Oh, you can't really... That was a weak-ass cheers.
It's called a
Clink, clink.
Tom Collins.
Nope.
Okay. It's called... Are we going to do another cheers?
Oh, yeah. Here, cheers.
You just disgraced my name in front of the whole internet.
Shit. We are... What are we drinking? I
was afraid to bang this against yours because this glass feels so flimsy.
It's so thin. It's like one of those Tom Collins. You got the glass right. It's Tom's Collins glass or Collins glass. Who is Tom, and why the fuck does he have his own drink in his own specific glass just for the drink?
It's good.
This is pretty good.
I actually... Okay, what's the drink called?
It's called a whiskey highball.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it normally have maple syrup in it?
No.
Okay. I don't know if I care for the syrup taste in it.
It has a syrupy taste.
Yeah, because...
I think it's from the particular whiskey.
Exactly. So we're using... Canadian maple syrup whiskey.
Is it really maple syrup whiskey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the name of the brand is Sortilege. Is that how you say it?
You probably need a French accent to be able to correctly pronounce
Sortilege.
Lege.
Sortilege.
Probably. And yeah, it's a whiskey liquor with maple syrup.
Boom.
So
shout out to our buddy Shane, who when he got married, that was his thing. It was like a old fashioned with maple syrup as the sweetener instead of simple syrup.
Oh, I didn't try that.
Yeah, and it has a very similar taste. But you can you get this in the States? You probably can, but
that's what it
you
looks
brought
like.
this back because you were just in Quebec.
Yeah.
City.
I would imagine you could probably find it somewhere, maybe somewhere that sells some specialty whiskeys and stuff. But
it's pretty good though. I kind of dig it. The lemon. Traditionally, a whiskey highball just has club soda and whiskey. And what makes it so good, in my opinion, is when you add any kind of like water, or, in this case, a club soda, or in this case, we were using Topo Chico. It actually doesn't like water down the spirit, the whiskey. It actually accentuates some of the flavors of whiskey when you add water. So it gives it a nice like full taste. Like it seeps into the drink a little bit better, and you have those well-rounded flavors. Those like notes of, in this case, like maple and kind of butterscotch typically is what you'd say for like a whiskey, and it kind of seeps into that mineral water really nice. That sparkling mineral, and then the lemon garnish to top it off. I put a little bit of lemon juice in it. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. I think about the whole putting water in your whiskey, I think isn't that what a whiskey person would tell you is if you have a whiskey and there's too much burn to it in your mouth and you're not that's not how you like your whiskey, you can put a bit of water in it to make it burn less.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily water down the whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, it waters it down because you're putting water in it, but it doesn't water down the taste.
Yeah, some like whiskey connoisseurs would actually say there are brands of whiskeys that are much better when you add the water. Like it actually like brings out some of the notes a little bit better than some of the other whiskeys. But
I think I think that's actually a drink. It's a drink that you just put, it's like making tea. You just put hot water and whiskey.
Yeah, it's a hot toddy.
Is that what a hot toddy is? I thought it had some other stuff in it.
It has like lemon and sometimes simple syrup, I think.
Yeah.
But it's
toddy,
hot.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
In other countries, they call it something different.
They call it the
hot whiskey drink.
The hot whiskey drink. The hot slurp.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good. The whiskey I got from Quebec City.
Yeah.
I think they make it in Oh, they make it somewhere in Quebec.
Yeah,
I believe.
One of those.
And I tried it because a couple of the people there told me that I should put it in my coffee, especially after I'm done doing an activity or something in the morning. And so I tried it when I was ice canoeing. I was out on the ice, standing in the middle of the river, and the guy we were with, who owns the company, poured us some of it into some hot chocolate, and we tried it, and I was like, that was really good. Yeah. So then Sarah and I were going to a liquor store on our way back to where we were staying one of the nights to grab some wine, and I saw this there, and it was a little bottle of it, which is perfect for traveling. So we grabbed it, and just where we were staying, they had a bunch of snow outside, so I just made some ice balls from the snow, put them in a whiskey glass, and then pour a little bit of that over it. And you can't drink a ton of it because the maple syrup taste is really strong, but it's really good to just sip on like after dinner. You know, it's like drinking a port or something.
Yeah,
where it's like really sweet, but it tastes good. And then I bought an entire bottle of it in the airport at the duty free because I was like, I don't know if it's easy to get in the US, and it was pretty unique. It would be good if you had like a shot of it with like waffles or pancakes.
Yeah.
Right? For breakfast?
Yeah, like a brunch, like a weekend brunch.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, or even in the coffee too. I mean, like you were saying. Maybe that's why I like this, because it is kind of sweet. It does have like a sweet taste to it almost. Like it's not overpowering by any means, like a I don't know, like a fruit punch alcohol or whatever, you know, daiquiri or whatever. Those are like way too sweet for me.
Right. Yeah, it's good. Like I said, I wouldn't want to drink, you know, like a double shot of whiskey on ice or something, but if you're just having a little bit of it,
I mean, I would. That sounds actually pretty good.
Yeah. I guess it depends.
Depends on the whiskey, I suppose.
End of the night, morning, maybe. I don't know. I guess with your waffles and stuff.
I went to the Sazerac house in New Orleans.
Oh.
Which, like, for those of you listening who don't know what Sazerac is, it's also a drink. Like, we've actually made it on the podcast before. It's like, it's got what's the name of the it's a specific bitters that's in it, and then it's rye whiskey, and then something else, lemon, and so it was a Pershad's.
Is Sazerac a drink, or is it a brand of?
It's brand and a drink.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, so the brand and the drink have a intertwined history together. So basically, these guys moved to New Orleans. They got intertwined with the alcohol prohibition culture out down there, and they partnered with a guy who made bitters. And what people don't understand, a lot of people don't understand, like that the word cocktail actually comes from not an alcoholic drink, but rather a drink that contains like basically just bitters and water in it. And back in the day, before all these like prescriptions and medicines became widely popular and like trusted, people would drink and use bitters for different ailments. Like if you were nauseous, you'd take this bitter. If you were like had a headache, you could take this bitter. And like, I don't know if there's actually true like studies on whether or not it works, or anyway, if you went out and drank and the next morning you were hungover, they would give you a bitters with like water and lemon juice or whatever.
Peychaud's?
Yeah, Peychaud's bitters. And so this guy, Peychaud, he like came up with all these bitters. He had like his own apothecary shop, basically, that would just sell like herbs, medicines, bitters. And one thing led to another. And let me first finish the whole cocktail story. You would drink this like combination of bitters and water. You take like a shot of it in the morning, and it was called a cocktail. And you would basically use it to curb your hangover in the morning. And one thing led to another, and basically that's where the word cocktail came from. And so back to Peychaud, he was making all these bitters, and he was getting very well known within the community in New Orleans. And they would combine the bitters with this rye whiskey from the Sazerac family that they were making. It was called Sazerac rye, and it became known as a Sazerac. That was the cocktail, basically. It was like this rye whiskey with its bitters to get a unique flavor. Also, like, easier to consume.
I guess it has absinthe in it too.
Yeah, like absinthe became illegal in the United States at some point because it was considered a very strong cocktail. And to give like everybody a little frame of reference, this was all around Prohibition. Like, people were very sensitive about, like, New Orleans was like one of the underground speakeasy capitals of the United States during the time of Prohibition. Like, there was even like for those of you who are familiar with New Orleans, there's a place called Pat O'Brien's, which was like it's a very famous bar. It's like the proclaimed inventor of the hurricane drink. And they continuously operated during Prohibition, and I think it was like storms a brewing was the key word that you would say at the front door to get into the speakeasy portion of the bar, and where they obviously were serving alcohol, which was illegal. And so, yeah, shortly after even after Prohibition, absinthe was still illegal. I can't remember what date or what year it became illegal. It was always imported. So what the Sazerac family did, or somebody local, they actually made into a substitute for absinthe and started using that instead.
Herb Saint?
Yeah, Herb Saint. And so that's the Sazerac drink. But a lot of people don't know Sazerac as like its own like liquor company, but almost everybody is at one point or another had one of the spirits that they make. They make obviously Sazerac rye. They make Southern Comfort, which is another whiskey, and they make one of the more popular whiskeys in America right now, which is Buffalo Trace. And so they also do Wheatlead vodka. They do a whole range of spirits, but they have this small distillery near Bourbon Street on Canal Street in New Orleans in the French District, where you can go. Excuse me, it's sort of a museum. It's like 3 floors. And you can, is that your laptop?
Yeah, I just went to Sazerac.com.
And it was like, nah.
You know, they were like, it's playing a video.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's super legit. You know, they own 450 brands.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. Fun story. I actually, before Buffalo Trace had its like boom, again, because it's widely considered the longest continuously operated whiskey distillery in America. I think there's some like mistruths to that, but like that's what they claim. And it had its popularity, then it kind of faded, and then it's come back. A lot of people, like Joe Rogan is a popular advertiser of this whiskey. It's super popular. It's in many instances hard to get because of the distribution network that it had set up. They've since recently switched distributors, and now it's going to become more widely popular or accessible. And I don't know, 6 years ago one of our concepts at the airport, we're trying to rebrand one of our lounges, and we were talking to Sazerac about branding one of our rebranding it into the Buffalo Trace Lounge. And then we got really close. We were almost going to pull the trigger. One thing led to another, and we didn't end up doing it. And then literally like 3 years later, it's like everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to get their hands on it. It's super popular. And I was like, oh, that's so super weird, because like it wasn't very popular like a short amount of time ago.
Why is it so popular now? Marketing. Yeah.
Marketing. Yeah.
So that's really weird that whiskey in particular. I mean, they own a ton of popular brands.
Yeah.
Like, I was just looking through like Fireball, Goldschlager, Margaritaville tequila, like a lot of random ones where they've licensed with companies and stuff, and then just tons of spirits that if you went to like Total Wine and walked down each of the different aisles, you could probably find like 5 on of their things on each section
in any aisle, basically. Yeah. They have spent, I think, the last I don't know 20, 30 years just with acquisition, just buying up companies, basically.
Yeah,
which is why they have brands like Margaritaville tequila and like it's like.
But what's funny is like they own all those companies, but their main alcohol that they're known from is the Sazerac rye, which I've heard of a Sazerac drink, but never even knew that it was a actual whiskey itself.
Yeah, it's crazy, and such an old whiskey too. I mean, when I was at the Sazerac house, they had like examples of all the different labels and bottles that they would use, and they were like really old and really cool.
Yeah, ones they would probably have at pharmacies and shit.
Exactly. Yeah, because like I think that's how Buffalo Trace in general was able to still operate during Prohibition, is because, and Louisiana or New Orleans more specifically tried to do this, where they tried to classify whiskey and other spirits as medicinal. So even though it was illegal for recreational use, they were like, no, we're turning all of our bars into basically like pharmacies. And the government was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do that. So that basically, like, that very quickly got like shut down. But I'm pretty sure that's how Buffalo Trace was able to get an exception to like basically still. And I feel like they're one of the few that were able to do that, and they were able to basically sell their product and distill it for medicinal use.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even a thing, that they could use it medicinally.
Yeah.
Weird. I feel like a lot of those speakeasies had an in with the local police, right? It's like they paid them off, or maybe they
100%
had their own in or whatever.
Especially New Orleans, which is like has such a deep seated culture of like of nightlife and like what I'd say like is like debauchery, and as you know, like the like Bourbon Street is a prime example of like that culture. Is like that street there used to be brothels on that street.
Oh yeah, so it's always kind of been that way.
Yeah, it's like a long lineage of recreational like drug consumption and like sex. And
did Red Dead Redemption teach you this? Is that where you're getting your history from?
No. I was just there, so.
Okay.
I mean, we've been many times, but like.
So they had brothels there legally?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know if they were legal or not.
Because if they were legal at one point, then we are now in the prohibition of prostitution.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to go on a limb and say they were legal. I mean, there are brothels still in the United States that are operating legally.
Right.
So I think it's only in one spot specifically. In
Nevada. It not illegal federally then? Prostitution. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it might be illegal federally, but some states have granted like specific licenses to some brothels to still operate.
Isn't it just Nevada that has that?
I think so. Yeah.
That's so weird.
At least if there's other places, I'm unaware of it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like I know.
Well, you don't have a map of all of them around the U.S.
Yeah. So that was cool. I got to see different drinks. They make a daiquiri, like a rum daiquiri. That's like. Because we were talking about the sweet overbearing, like when you think of a frozen daiquiri, it's like pink or red, and it's got a bunch of sugar in it.
It's what you drink when you don't like alcohol.
Yeah,
and you like sweet drinks.
You're like, you're you haven't acquired a taste for like hard liquor or like beer yet. And you're like, I want to go. Or another one is like the what's the coconut one? The pina colada.
Yeah.
That's another.
Although those are good if they don't make it too sweet and you can really taste the rum in it.
Yeah.
Then pina colada can be really good.
It can be, yeah, exactly. That's the key, I think, is not having it be too sweet. But sometimes they just use those like syrups and like the pre-mixed stuff.
Yeah,
and you're just like, nah, that's not good. It has to be like fresh. Although, like, I don't think you can go get too fresh of like a coconut. I think you have to use like cream of coconut, which is like kind of processed already.
So you can't just take coconut and grind it up with ice.
I'm sure you could, but that's like that's a whole process. I mean, I'm sure there are like tiki bars or some like prestigious, like pretentious bars out there that are like making like
well, it's got to be somewhere with tons of
scratch
coconuts.
Pina coladas. What?
It's got to be somewhere with tons of coconuts.
Yeah.
Like in the Caribbean or something. There's probably some bar that does stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the daiquiri that they were using, it was sweet, but it wasn't like overbearing, and it looked like lemonade. It wasn't like what I thought a daiquiri was, but it was basically like their rum. It's like one of their rums and like another liqueur that made it like sweet.
So, question: do they have a tasting of every brand option?
No, they don't.
They should do that. It's like a week long. You try like
you could just get smashed.
1/4 of them every day.
you just like
the tastings are like micro tastings. You know what I mean? You're trying like 1/10 of an ounce.
Yeah, I did pick up some bitters though. I got like a 4-pack of bitters, and some of them are really cool. I'm really excited to try out some of them. One of them is like a habanero bitters. And it's good to put in like margaritas. So
I wonder. Usually, I don't care for bitters that much. Mm-hmm. It just gives me an odd smell.
It's very aromatic. For sure.
There are some bitters that I like. For instance, there's this one that people drink when they have an upset stomach.
Yeah,
but makes you feel healthy when you drink it. It's weird. But anyway,
you just put it in water, right?
I don't know, but. For instance, in an old fashioned, I'm not that much because that's orange bitters, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a citrus bitters, but it's a specific bitters. It's like aromatic bitters, or it starts with an A. Yeah. Angostura.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a very strong taste.
Yeah.
In an old.
That's why they tell you, and some people will just like do like 4, 5, 6 dashes of it. It's like you need like 1 or 2.
Yeah, most. I've literally asked the bartender before, please make me an old fashioned, but use very little bitters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it still was really strong. So I'm like, what is a normal one for you? Or he just forgot.
Yeah, he probably just forgot. I like if I just pour a whiskey neat, you know, just like nothing else, I'll throw in like a couple dashes of bitters.
Well, now you got the habanero ones.
I know, make it a little spicy.
I have some habanero, ground up habanero pepper.
Oh yeah,
in a cabinet at home. I've been saving it for a good time.
Yeah.
So you know,
we should make a double, like everything habanero, like margarita.
Oh, that would be good.
Just like straight up,
and then snort a line of it.
Just oh my god, I can't imagine. I would probably die.
I think
your body would go into shock.
Do you think you would lose vision if you did that?
Vision? I don't know about vision. Maybe like permanent nasal damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine like.
Mom, do you want me doing cocaine or habanero?
Can habanero? Yeah, because like peppers can burn. They give you.
They can burn
burns. Yeah.
Like they can. You could get
like topical burns.
Kind of like a yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think so. I don't know.
I don't know either. Topical burn. What's topical burn? Like a chemical burn?
It's like on the surface, like surface burns.
It's like a sunburn.
Yeah. Like topical creams are something that you'd put on your skin.
Yeah.
So
you could like put a cream on your skin. That
I think if you should do it when you get home and report back on the next podcast, is put a little bit of powder, kind of just like viciously rub it into your front of your palm, and see if it does anything.
Isn't it a thing if you're handling peppers and then you go to the bathroom and you haven't washed your hands?
You rub it on penis? You rub it on your dick. Yeah,
it'll burn.
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
I wonder why it won't burn your fingers. The skin must be a lot. Well, it is a lot more sensitive.
Yeah,
but also like your fingers are very sensitive too. You can feel things.
And I can imagine if you had like a paper cut on your finger and you got some habanero pepper in there. That probably would sting.
Yeah, that's right.
Because like I don't know, like lemon juice kind of stings when you get citrus.
I could do like some dip where I take the habanero, the powder, and just like put it right here. See how long I can last.
Get a little. They sell like tobacco pouches where you, like people who are like dipping connoisseurs, they'll like fill their own pouch up.
Oh yeah,
with like their own tobacco, and then they'll just like put it in their lip. You could just put habanero powder in one of those things, zip that thing up, pop
I should sell that as a thing.
Miles's habanero dips.
How's habanero dips?
I dip habanero.
I feel like it would do good.
No.
Okay.
But it could sprout its own like challenge, like like the one chip challenge that we did when Logan was here.
Right.
It could be like the habanero dip challenge where you had to like dip habanero pouch for like a minute straight.
That might be what makes me go TikTok viral. I'm doing it next week.
Yeah. Let me know how that works out because I doubt you'll survive.
Well, it's between that and eating a tampon, so.
Equally like used or
obviously.
I don't know. I'm just like, dude, this drink is really good. I'm actually like, I could drink
the more I drink of it, the more I'm liking it.
It's really good.
The very first sip I had, the syrup was really strong.
It was,
not anymore. I think you just made the drink wrong.
I really like this. This is really good. Yum. It's like it has the right amount of sweetness to it, and it's got like my favorite water in it. So,
and if you're interested in having this drink, since we didn't tell you what's in it,
we told them what's in it.
You can buy our drink book at theluckyduck.com/drinkbook.
This is not true, Miles. What are you talking about?
$16.99. Gotta run the podcast somehow. You think that these mics are free?
You put that out there, so now we have to actually do it, right?
Let's see. I'm gonna type in at theluckyduck.com. Oh, I spelled duck as fuck. Crap.
In other news, did you see that there was this like radioactive capsule in Australia that they were transporting across the country, and
for a nuclear
for some kind of science experiment or something, and it like fell off the back of the truck or something.
Okay.
And so they like put out a public statement afterwards, and we're like, here's the situation. There's this tiny, like 8 millimeters by 8 millimeters wide capsule that's somewhere on this road that we've been traveling. It fell off the truck of which it was traveling on, and it's radioactive. How radioactive, you ask? Being next to it is the equivalent, for an hour, is the equivalent of getting 10 x-rays done.
I feel like this didn't actually happen.
It did.
Who is that dumb?
Dude, right? That's what I was saying. I was like, yo, there are protocols for transferring stuff like that where it could just fall, like it could just fall out.
Yeah, what does that even mean? It fell out. Fell out of what?
It's literally like this big, and it just like falls out.
Yeah.
The back of the truck.
Like, was it by itself? Was someone carrying it in a radioactive proof case?
I feel like
how was it just by itself, like falls out the truck, not enclosed in something that's going to keep the radioactivity from getting into the surrounding area, and just falls off? How? That's
my concern, is like not necessarily like how it happened, but like now that it's out there. And by the way, full disclosure, they did end up finding it. Somebody found it. Really? And it is back now in the care of these reckless scientists, wherever the fuck they are. Yeah, somehow they found it. Somehow they found it. Like, it's been recovered.
Yeah.
But Australia has some like already really creepy, fucked up like wildlife.
Right.
You stick this thing out there, just randomly.
Is it worse
out there,
or is it not as bad?
And are we gonna get like some fallout radiated like animals that would just like mutate into like whatever the fuck? Like that's like, this is how Spider-Man became Spider-Man. I'm just gonna let everybody know. We do not want to lose this shit in the middle of Australia, wherever the fuck it was, where there's like fucking dingoes and like
that's the thing,
big old fucking spiders the size of your face.
You know, in the game Fallout, the Deathclaw thing.
Yeah,
it's like dude. That's a kangaroo gone rogue.
Is it really?
I don't know.
No, it could be like though. It very well could be.
It looks like you're in Australia and you just came across a gigantic kangaroo that's been mutated for 1,000 years.
Imagine that's what happens. Is like there's just some stupid fucking Australia that's just like, yeah, we lost it. We're looking for it, and then all of a sudden, out of the side camera, a Deathclaw just comes and swipes them. Yeah, and then we're all fucked.
That's the thing I wondered. Is that an actual thing in real life that that animals can have their DNA fucked up so bad that they turn into this weird mutated thing, but they don't actually die first, and then reproduce, and they reproduce these fucked up like
Godzilla. Like that's the whole premise of Godzilla, right?
The wouldn't he have just died?
Nuke goes off the testing. Yeah, typically what you. It's all fantasy in terms of... Is
it fantasy or is that a thing?
No, what typically happens is, you will start having like abnormal abscesses and like growths, but you typically will die very quickly.
Yeah, it's like we launched like 1,000 nukes out in the desert.
Yeah.
In like Nevada and shit. Mm-hmm. So there must be some crazy lizards out there.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not.
I think they mostly all just die.
Yeah, they just die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think for something to successfully happen, it has to have a long period of time, and there has maybe be such a low amount of irradiation.
So
like that to happen.
If you took your cell phone and just laid it on your face your entire life.
Yeah. Like we are all going through it right now with cell phones. Like we don't even know it. Is like we're all slowly transforming into this like sexless, genderless, non-binary creature because we've all like fucked each other.
Is that why there's so many trans people nowadays?
Could be the cell phones. Could be the 5G.
Whoa.
Could be.
That's crazy. Is that why my vision's getting worse?
Yeah, it could be. Well, I sleep with two phones. So I put one in my pocket. I put one on my chest. I have an iPad strapped to the side of my face.
You know what you should do is you should, like if you take the phone and you strap it to the front, you should have one in the back. That way the waves that go through your body get bounced back into the phone.
It's like a double negative.
Yeah. So it'll just cancel out.
It'll cancel out. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's science. That's science.
Look, the thing is, you can apply math to everything in life.
Yeah.
Like the world, our universe is built on math. You can explain everything with math. And so that is a law in mathematics. And so
sacred geometry
applies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So they found it. Did you pull up the article?
Yeah, they found it.
Where they find it?
So by the way, it was smaller than a coin.
Yeah.
Apparently, and they found it next to a bunch of rocks. It's like a here we go. So you can see like apparently this is what it is right here.
How did they find
someone
that
really
thing?
put a watermark on this picture? It's not that good of a picture.
They're like, don't you fucking use it.
So it was announced on January 25th. This article is from 7 hours ago, so they must have found it like today.
Yeah, they did.
And it looks like 6 millimeters by 8 millimeters. Wow.
That's really small. And they just like found it. They're like, yeah, here it is.
It says it can even cause cancer. This is what it's like. It's like standing next to it for an hour is like receiving 10 x-rays. And prolonged exposure can even cause cancer. Is it really that bad? It can cause cancer. It's like not will cause cancer.
Can. That's the key word, can. Also, like they were like, just FYI, this is out there. Who's going to look for it? Like, was there like a bounty on this, like a reward if you found it?
That's a good question.
I'm not like the last thing I want to do is jeopardize like my DNA.
Well, so the people who lost it is a mining company called Rio Iron Ore, and they apologized, by the way, for losing it.
Oh, well, you're forgiven as long as you apologize.
They have an internal investigation. Anyway, so apparently it's commonly used with gauges in mining operations.
Okay, that makes sense.
And yeah, I guess it doesn't say who found it.
It's because they're probably dead and they want to keep it under wraps, like a hush hush type of thing.
Shit.
They
probably
found it, but that's all you're gonna get.
They just found a trail of bodies.
Yeah,
right. Because like the first person was walking towards it, died, and then like someone saw him and was like, "Oh, that's weird."
Shit.
But by the time he got done trying to figure out why that guy was dead, he died. And then
he's
the guy
like pulling out his phone. He's like, "Oh no!"
And the guy behind him walks up, and it's like this trail of dead bodies
until the last one, who is just outside the radiation zone,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, couldn't you just like it was only a matter of time. Couldn't you just take like a Geiger counter and just kind of retrace your steps and eventually find it?
So I think that's what they were doing, but what I wonder is how sensitive or how far away the Geiger counter can detect it. For instance, if the radius of maybe it gives off a lot of radiation, but that radiation doesn't go
like it's contained within a X amount diameter, radius, whatever.
And then you got to think about like wind too. I don't know how that all works with.
Yeah, wind carries the radiation for sure.
Yeah, so maybe it's like way over here, and you have the Geiger count, and you really have to get close to see it. It's just like you probably had to lay on it. Like when they're saying the 10 X-ray thing, you probably had to like lay on it.
Yeah, you probably had to like swish it around in your mouth a couple times. Like
you spit it out and you just have blood pouring out.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, this is fucked.
Why do I have a cold sore? That's weird.
Well, I'm glad they found it. That's it's kind of like stupid that this all happened. Like it's 2023 and we're losing shit that's like, radioactive. Like, oh, no big deal.
That's the thing about when these scientists are doing these things. For instance, this is going to get us canceled. I'm just going to bring it up an example. I'm not saying I want to talk about it, but like the whole, what's it called? With the viruses, how they try to make them more powerful.
Oh, gain of function research.
Yeah, gain of function research.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, for instance, which causes a pandemic, some people say.
Yeah. YouTube, be careful. I mean, be nice to us.
Yeah. Anyway, and then you have the God particle collider thing, the Hadron Collider in Sweden?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what happens if that thing collides some particles and then like the entire Earth just implodes into a black hole?
And that's the thing you got to do, man. That's the thing you got to do.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, or like any other thing where someone's doing something that could potentially wreck people's lives. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I thought of? Like, I was thinking about like that theory that like things like that happen where like there's big massive extinction events that happen, and it's hard to figure out how many have happened, and we're continuously learning about our lineage and history and our ancestors and how far back we actually go, in terms of like, when was the first human, or, there's like the Neanderthal, there's like, the beings before them, and how far we actually go back.
Yeah. And
like the mysteries of like the pyramids and things like that, because like the whole pyramid thing is such a unique, like the way that it's constructed, it seems almost impossible. They still don't understand quite how it was done, especially with the tools available back then. But what if, and then I'm also thinking like, okay, we've got, this emerging AI, like Chat GPT and all these other things that like are starting to emerge, and we're starting to see, like, I'm on Reddit, and like, I'm starting to see like robots and humans and like and being taken very seriously in like mainstream media, and it's now a part of like what we're talking about day to day. And so I started to think about like, what if there was like, thousands or millions of years ago, like we were like in the same state, like, we have like all these things, and we're actually like, we had technology, we had AI, we had computing, we had, processors and silicone and whatever. And we started to realize that we were ruining our climate. And so we started to create things that were biodegradable, things that, and we became more digital. So we started making less physical things, right? And so that would explain why we don't have any like trace artifacts or like fossils or anything of like material items, because there's a prolonged period of time where we just stopped making physical things because everything became so digital. You know, we all lived in like the metaverse, so like we all started to consume digital things like digital homes and digital real estate, and we no longer needed physical things, and everything that was physical that we still made was biodegradable and wouldn't last long because it's, you know, easier on the environment. And then a mass extinction event happens, and we all get wiped out. Like, what's going to be left? Basically nothing, right?
Probably
at that
the pyramids.
Probably just the pyramids.
Yeah.
And then now, like thousands of years later, we rebuilt civilization. Humans become, you know, the way they are again. We start building AI again, and it's like, will we ever be? And then the whole cycle turns over again.
Yeah,
over and over and over and over and over, indefinitely, right? Until like, I don't know. Maybe and this is just me being a dumbass, a moron, spewing this theory. But like, I'm sure somebody much smarter than me is gonna be like, well, actually, there's only a finite amount of resources on this earth, so really, we would notice, you know, if this happened once before, that, you know, there's less. Maybe there was always more resources to be mined, and
actually, there's a point about that, because most of the resources we get are just fossil fuels and shit, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, maybe about like things like lithium, cobalt, nickel. I don't know how that stuff is formed, but at least like carbon, you know, oil and shit we get from fossil fuels. So it's like, you have a mass extinction and all that stuff is down pressurized into the earth and turns back into the fossil fuels that then the next generation uses.
Recycles, If
you think about the age of the earth, isn't it like 4 billion years old?
Yeah, something like that, ballpark.
I don't know how long the earth has been livable. It could be only like 3 billion of that, 1 billion of that, 100 million years. Who knows? Well, somebody knows. Somebody has estimated it. But humans, the ancestors of humans have been around for like 6 million years. Yeah. So if you think about, even if you had 6 million years on, 6 million years off, 6 million years on, that's enough time, I think, for that stuff to all go away and come back again. Yeah. And to have that shit in the earth, and you have asteroids that occasionally come and hit the earth, so that brings more materials, right? Right. Like a lot of the gold and stuff like that.
Yeah, it said it didn't originate here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be a thing. It could be a thing.
But I'm just saying.
You know what's something interesting? You brought up ChatGPT. We don't have to talk a lot about it, but I saw this thing the other day about how many users a bunch of the really popular platforms, or how long it took each platform to gain 1 million users.
Yeah. And yes.
Did you see this?
Yes. Where ChatGPT took like little to no time.
So it was like Netflix, for instance, which Netflix is a little bit different, because I don't know if they started this as in when Netflix really started using their digital platform versus when they first started. But Netflix took 3.5 years. You had Airbnb that took 2.5 years.
Instagram took how long?
So Instagram was one of the fastest. So it was 2.5 months. Yeah. You had Spotify 5 months.
Isn't that crazy how Instagram took off that fast?
Yeah, it is really crazy.
And it wasn't like Facebook acquired it after it became popular. Yeah. Like what were they doing to market this thing that it became so popular so quickly?
I don't know. You know, there's a podcast called How We Built This.
Yes.
I believe that has that talks with the founders of Instagram, or the founder. I think there was like, I may be mixing up between Airbnb, but there's one on Instagram, and they kind of talk about how Instagram started and what it was meant to be, which I think what it was meant to be was a place where photographers could post their pictures, basically. And then it just has evolved over time.
I feel like most new products start as niche products. Yeah. And then they they become more generalized
for sure
to basically grow a bigger audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Spotify was really just for streaming music, and now they have podcast shows and shit on there.
Yep. You see Netflix has games too now.
Netflix does have games like mobile apps.
Yeah, but it's basically almost everything you can get on the normal like Apple App Store.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like another platform to play your games.
Yeah. So ChatGPT took 5 days to gain 1 million users, which is just insane.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. That is insane. Yeah.
It's probably... I feel like when I was watching TikTok in the last couple years, there's been two things that have really dominated the videos that I've seen on TikTok. And one of them was crypto, which I've seen a lot less of now after a lot of the crashes and stuff. You know, people get on trends.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT. Those are the two main things that I've heard just lots about in the news. But like I think TikTok gives you a good idea of what the trend is.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And that's the thing right now is.
But it also knows what trends, if there's multiple trends, what trends you would be interested in.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I got a lot when Blink-182 reunited and put out a single.
Yeah.
I got a lot of like reaction videos of like people listening to their new single. And I'm just like, I'm sure somebody who doesn't listen isn't getting these videos. But it seemed like everybody was listening to it. But then I went to Spotify and looked at Blink-182's page. It had like 12 million like listens at the moment, and I was like, 12 million, that's not a lot. It seems like should be way more.
You know what I hate on TikTok? One of the reasons I don't like TikTok is because it will push a lot of repetitive content where like you'll have those reaction videos of people watching it. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's interesting to see. Maybe you were interested in seeing people react to it.
Right. And that's what it's ultimately trying to do, right? Is like guess that if you spend a lot of time listening or watching this one piece of content, that it's just going to start feeding you more and more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it sometimes backfires.
It does.
For instance, I was on our adventuring account, TikTok account, and looking through videos to engage and whatnot. And I kept getting this video. It was like this woman and she has her baby and she's just standing doing something, maybe eating, whatever, playing with her baby. And then it's just text on the screen with music. And the text says something like, if every one of the people who saw this video gave me $1, then I could pay off like, my debts and be able to quit work and take care of my kid. Yeah. And I swear to God, I probably saw 100 of those videos, and I probably watched the first couple, because when you see something and you need to read it, a lot of times you'll sit and read it until you know what the trend is, right? And then as soon as I started seeing them, I kept swiping, but it kept showing me these videos.
No shit.
And I understand this makes sense for certain types of video, but that video is literal like content garbage.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's like junk content.
It's junk. Yeah,
it provides zero value to my experience on TikTok. It actually makes me not want to be on TikTok.
It's like panhandling.
Yeah,
like through social media.
Right.
Almost. Yeah.
And so like when you go to TikTok, you go there to see interesting videos, like things that
entertainment.
Things you won't see in your normal life.
Yeah, there's also like I want to learn something, or I need like in the case of like what a large part of what you guys do, which is like itinerary building.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
A lot of people will follow you because they're like, oh, I want to go to Colorado.
Yeah,
let me look what if there's like any good hikes, and then they see you guys posted something about this specific hike, and they follow you and like your content.
Right.
So there's a lot of that, or like fashion. A lot of people like.
Oh, it's a huge thing. Fashion and makeup.
Makeup, things things people are generally interested in, and there's like a market for.
A huge type of video is literally women just putting on makeup in front of the video, and they're talking about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's like it's almost like a podcast in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people like their personality.
Yeah.
So they just listened about, what they're talking about. It may literally have to do with putting the makeup on, like, oh, I'm using this type of mascara or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, this is why I like it. And then they'll just talk about other shit. But people like the people as their, as a personality.
There's like, I think like Mr. Beast does the gaming channel that he has. I mean, that's what he'll do. who will just like play video games but also like talk.
Right.
And if people like Mr. Beast just as a personality, maybe they don't really care for video games, but maybe they do. I mean, it's like a double whammy for them. It's like the overstimulation thing. It's like those videos where it's like the main piece of content, and then right below it on the same video is like just a stream of like somebody playing a racing game,
right?
And it's like the two videos have nothing to do with each other, but they like it's there because people like that overstimulation. They like the duality of like whatever they are consuming. It's just like it's weird.
Hey, Mr. Beast has like 40 channels, like YouTube channels and stuff. He has them for like every language. He has them, all his videos dubbed.
Yeah, he has a whole team that does that basically.
Yeah. So then he's able to take the same video that he already produced and spent, $100,000 on, and then put it out to people in Hispanic countries.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he spends like a lot of money on his videos. There's like millions of dollars on them. But like it's gotten to the point where he's basically just a film studio. There's no difference between like what he's doing and what Hollywood is doing, basically.
Yeah.
Other than like his approach is different. Like they don't necessarily have a script. They have an idea of how the run of show is going to go, and then they'll like ad lib a lot of it, and spend a lot of money on it, and then get that money back basically. Like I think he has a video that has like a 300 million. I think it's the what's that?
Squid Games?
Yeah, Squid Games video. Yeah.
Yeah, did you see most of that video was green screen?
Yeah, sure.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
He's clearly someone who understands engaging content.
Yeah.
Keeping people or what's it, like clickbait type content?
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's my only problem with him.
Yeah.
Like he's
but the thing is
chasing the views.
Yeah. There is that, but his videos are less clickbaity than most other people's video, because a typical clickbait video will say something that sounds crazy. Like,
well, he does that though.
Like this. I regret moving to Colorado.
Yeah.
And then I'll basically like twist that somehow, right?
Yeah.
But he will say something like, I bought a car dealership and gave away free cars, or like I gave away free cars at a dealership.
Yeah.
And he'll actually do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like clickbaity, but he actually does it. Some of them don't end up, it's not, they're not as good as they sound.
Yes.
Like he did one where he filled his backyard with those little balls the Orbeez. Yeah. And in especially in the thumbnail, it'll look like, his whole backyard's full.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you into the video.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually like that, but
right.
A lot of the times, he does do things that you actually want to see. It's not just the words and then click.
Well, he has a good understanding of how to exploit YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the main key of it. And he's constantly thinking about how to make content that you want to see, not necessarily content that he wants to make. Like that's my main problem.
Definitely.
But he
has to do that.
Well, that's his main gig now.
Yeah.
Like like you could call that selling out, right? That's like the definition of like selling out is when you turn something from like a personal passion to like, I have to do this now for capital gain. So you basically now changing everything that you're doing to squeeze as much profit out of it as you can. And so you'll basically break rules, your own like personal rules on certain things. Like you start out like, I'm never going to, I don't know, use Apple products. But in some little way down the line, you find that it's actually going to sell, or you're going to get twice as many views on a video if you use Apple products. So what do? You start using Apple products, and you start understanding like what's going to make the most money, what's going to make the most views, and you do that solely. And then he talks about that very openly. He's like, he talks about like mentoring people on how to make good YouTube videos, and he doesn't talk about it. He talks about it in the way where he's exploiting it, in a way.
Yeah, but I think that's not necessarily not what he wants to do though. Like
he wants to,
his drive of like what he gets excitement out of may be creating videos that get lots of views.
That's exactly right.
Regardless of what it is.
But in that pursuit is like this dirty little thing that he has to do to basically get to that point.
Maybe.
Like there's you know what I'm saying? Like, and then it destroys him if he doesn't get as many views.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. I mean, I know he had like most of the stuff that gets done for his videos are done by other people, and then he's there to act in it, and then he's there to work on ideas and stuff like that. And like maybe that's what he wanted to do, is to have to get enough money to where he can do whatever he wants. But like put the creative spin on it where it will get the views. And then
I don't think he's necessarily he's gotten to the it's weird when he talks about it, because he talks about it now as like this really rich guy that has a lot of money. He pours a lot of it back into his company. But it's easy to talk that way when you're in that position. You know, it's like I hear him talk, I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't be talking that same way if you weren't like loaded.
Like in what way you mean?
Like he said like money's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, right.
And I'm not doing it for the money. I'm like, well, what were you doing it in the first place?
But it could be believable that he's not doing it for the money. He seems like someone who actually doesn't necessarily care about material things, but I think he's probably doing it for like the fame and power, right?
Yeah.
Like being known as a huge YouTube, you know, one of the biggest YouTubers. I think that's what drives him. He probably really doesn't care as much about the money.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's like, yeah, I'm set for the rest of my life, basically. You know, all the assets he has in his businesses are worth more money than most people have.
Yeah. I think I admire people more so for doing something for the sake of doing it for as a hobby, rather than to like under the guise of like, oh, I'm doing this because I love to do it. But yet like you're doing all these things, making all these decisions for the sake of like making more money or making more views, you know, type of thing.
But is he doing that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's obsessed with that. Not with the making money part, but he's obsessed with the views.
Right.
Yeah.
But what is he cutting though? Like, what is he doing that?
Like he'll talk about the way you should like title something, or the way you should like what your thumbnail needs to look like.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily like cutting out the enjoyment or what he likes to do. Like it could still be his hobby. It's like that's what his hobby is like the drive of getting the views, right? Like that's just what he likes doing. And so he's gotten himself into a position where he can do that. Like he like his drive is, I need to find the next viral thing. Like what's my next video going to be? I need to find something that's viral. I need to get more views. Like that's what I like.
In that pursuit though, in that pursuit of being viral, there's something kind of self-sacrificing in that kind of way, right?
I guess it depends. I mean, his videos have really been the same since he started getting popular. Like his videos in the very beginning were like kind of crazy, but less production value. But what essentially his model is like, he just does something insane. Like counting to 1 million, or reading like every page in the Bible or something like that. And like that's how his videos have been really. I mean, I think even before that he was creating YouTube videos, but that's kind of what got him to where he's at. And even when he wasn't as popular, when he only had hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and then he got like, you know, 1 million and then 10 million, and he probably has like 100 million by now. It's kind of the same strategy. It's just like, think of something that sounds crazy. I'm going to give someone a Lamborghini, and then figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think there's still something like you can be a really creative person and have a drive for what drives you, and still do that. Like he's really applied that same strategy to all of his videos and really made them viral. You know?
Yeah. I think what I'm trying to say is like, nobody likes counting to 1 million. He didn't do that because he wanted to. He did that so he could get clicks.
Yeah.
And there's something kind of dirty to me in that kind of way.
But why? Like his goal wasn't to count to 1 million. His goal was to get YouTube views.
Yeah.
And he knew, or what he thought was, people will find it interesting if I count to 1 million because I find that interesting. So I'm going to do it. And then he did it, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Like people found it interesting. It's not the same as like he's going out in the hood and like fucking with people who are poor or something, right? Like that to me is like fucking with people and like making a scene in public. Like that to me is kind of the dirty side of you of going viral.
Yeah, it is.
At other people's expense.
You see those people that like will fuck with homeless people or like go into Home Depot and like yell in people's ears and see them react, or try to steal somebody's luggage at the airport.
Yeah,
see how they react.
Or remember the clips where the kids were going into stores and grabbing the jugs of milk and smashing them on the ground and then running out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's selling out.
Right. Well, I mean, that is selling out. But I mean, the core through line there is they're doing it for the views, and I think that's what Mr. Beast is doing too.
But he's doing it in a
way that doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah. It's just.
So is that the main thing? Is that you have to do you can it's okay if you only do it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with counting to 1 million.
No, there isn't. No.
Right.
But
there's something wrong with going into a grocery store and throwing a jug of milk at the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think for me it's like
he put the work in. I mean, he counted to 1 million.
Yeah, I suppose. I see where you're going, but it's still, every time I listen to him talk, the way he talks, like he like puts YouTube up on a pedestal.
Yeah, I mean he's like 22, right?
Because they've been so good to him. Like, yeah, you like them because like they basically you're their poster child,
right? But if he spent $1 million on a video and it got 20 million views, then he's gonna be like, "What the fuck, YouTube? Right? Yeah. Why aren't you pushing my content?"
Yeah, exactly. Like you're only saying this because you're the king of YouTube right now, and things are really good. But you would have such a different outlook on all of this if like your videos weren't doing well.
YouTube, a lot of platforms will favor like two types of accounts. Ones that are just starting out because they want creators to keep going, and then really big people.
Yeah.
So like they push a lot of his content, even though there will be a lot of other people on YouTube creating stuff like it that is just as good or better, but they're not pushing it in the same way just because like he is where he's at.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but like that's just how it is. And
yeah, I guess when I listen to him talk, I have this feeling like he's he's in a privileged spot to be making such like comments, you know, like he's humble to an extent, but it's just like you make it sound obtainable in a way.
Oh yeah.
Like, or I guess I'm saying that wrong. I guess it's more like I guess it's to the point I had made like a minute ago, like you wouldn't have this outlook if things weren't going so great. And there's a lot of people that are making really good content, to your point, that things aren't so great. And it's just like,
yeah, I think it's kind of like the same as if Tom Brady goes out and is like, yeah, being a quarterback is great. And, you know, like I just went to college and played football and now I make millions of dollars, you know, being a quarterback.
Yeah. And I guess like
he just goes and switches to the best team that's going to give him the best gains.
For me, it's like, it's if you do something and you're really good at it, and say if YouTube came along and was like, okay, Mr. Beast, it's been really, really awesome partnership so far, but like, we need you to be pro Russia in your videos. And then Mr. Beast is like, yeah, no problem. Sounds good. Because that's what's going to give me the most views. It's like, that's kind of dirty.
Yeah, but he hasn't done that.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But that's the same principle. You know, it's the same. Like he'll just do whatever because that's what's going to get the most views. Like there's no difference between, or there's differences, but like there's a sentiment, I think, to that. Like Mr. Beast as a person would never like you would hope he wouldn't sacrifice his morals or ethics to like just for the sake of doing views. But when you listen to him talk and say like how obsessed he is over the views, just like, and that's gotta like bleed down totally in the brainstorming session. Like he won't do things unless it gets the views.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think that there's enough things that he's doing that he doesn't really have to worry about that. It's like, yeah, he has his main channel, which is the one he gets the 70 million views on.
Yeah. And
then he goes and plays video games with his friends and talks.
Yeah. It's like I don't think it's exclusive to like him or people on YouTube. I think it's like social media in general. It's why like or like the media. Well, I think it's the same. It's like the same. It's the same engine that drives like Fox News or CNN. They're going to basically bend the rules or like bend ethics to basically get more clicks because it's going to get the most views.
Yeah, but like I don't think he's doing those things. Like I don't know.
Maybe
I don't. Yeah, maybe he likes making or he wants to make a certain type of video or go in a certain direction, and he knows that he can't do that. Mm-hmm. I understand that, but again, like maybe it's not for him. It's not about creating the video he wants. It's just about being big on YouTube and being able to still be creative and make things.
Yeah,
because his videos are very creative. Like they take a lot of, well, especially the acting. Like
totally. I'm not knocking that. I mean, if you have millions of dollars to throw at something, yeah. I would hope that it's really fucking good quality.
But for instance, I know what you're saying because here's an example. Like a lot of the financial YouTubers in the past couple of years started advertising crypto, mm-hmm. and basically what they were doing is they were giving financial advice to people and then saying things like, you should sign up for like Robinhood and get a free crypto stock, or like crypto.com and get, or FTX. Mm-hmm. It's a good like store of value. Inflation is getting high. You guys should buy some Bitcoin, and saying things because the advertiser is paying them a bunch of money to talk about that.
Yeah.
Whereas like, they probably normally would have said something like, guys, crypto is like super risky. If you want to, you can buy it, but like I wouldn't, necessarily recommend that you put that in your portfolio. Mm-hmm. So like that to me is more of like the dirty side of it, is like the one YouTuber I like, Graham Stephan, when he started talking about and making clickbaity videos about Dogecoin and mm-hmm. stuff like that, when Elon Musk was talking about it, to me, I was like, come on, I don't, that kind of makes me not really want to watch your videos, because you're really, really now just going off of the trend instead of making the kind of videos that you normally were making. Like that's where he actually changed and did something else mm-hmm. that was like just following the trend because he knew he would get views.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, even the fact, and I think I don't want to like personally attack Mr. Beast, because I think he's just a good example to use in this kind of argument, because he's where the person that he is and the status he is. Even if his desires is to become the most viewed YouTuber on, the planet, isn't that still kind of like narcissistic a little bit?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just his goal. I don't know. Like, why does anybody want to be president? Because they want the attention and the power.
It's like I roll my eyes when like you hear about the person who like wants to become famous. I just want to become famous. I want to move out to Hollywood, become an actress or an actor. I just want people to love me. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I mean, yeah.
I feel like there's a dark door at the end of that hallway when you open it up, and it's just emptiness.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you want in life. Like I think there's a lot of actors that have great lives and families, but then you have plenty of pretty good examples of really famous actors who who are the emptiness.
Yeah.
Like that being famous was more important than their family and stuff.
Well, I think that a lot of people who get to that point of being really famous, they still find depression at the end of that, because they're like, okay, I've been chasing this my entire life. I finally have obtained it. It's not exactly as fulfilling as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's not really bringing me happy. It's kind of like chasing money in the same way, right?
I saw this great video the other day that was, it's one of the kind of TikToks where it's like one guy acting as two different people. You know, so it's like one of his characters was a teacher in Vermont. He's like this guy who's a teacher in Vermont, and the other character is someone in fintech. So they're like, you know, a financial guy. So his goal is to make tons of money, you know, be able to afford nice cars, huge house. And they're friends. They went to college, so they're talking and they're catching up. And so the guy from Vermont goes, "Hey, how is everything going for you?" And he's like, "Great. I'm about to make partner. You know, I'm making really good bonuses. Maybe like, you know, 20, 30 years, and I'm going to be super rich. I'm going to be able to afford anything I want." He's like, "That's great, man." So the tech guy goes, "How are you doing in Vermont?" And he goes, "Oh, it's great. I wake up in the morning. I have to go on a walk with my dog in the forest. I go to school. I talk to my students about interesting things. I come home. I have dinner with my family, and we sit by the fire and like hang out and stuff."
Yeah, like that sounds way better.
Yeah. And so the guy's like, "Oh, that's great, man." And then so, you know, 30 years later.
But do you have a Lambo?
Yeah. So 30 years later, they get together again. They're like, "Oh, so how's it going?" So the Vermont teacher asks the tech guy, "Oh, how's it going now?" And he's like, "Oh, it's super great. I made all this money. I'm like super rich." And he goes, "Oh, that's awesome. What are you going to do now?" And he goes, "Well, you know, I'm thinking about retiring, moving somewhere, you know, like out in the country in Idaho, getting a big house, waking up in the morning, going on walks with my dog, you know, coming home, you know, spending time with my family." And he's like, "Well, didn't your kids already move to like the West Coast or something?" He's like, "Yeah, but I'm just telling you like how my ideal life would be."
Yeah.
And it's like that guy lived that his whole life.
Yes.
Whereas now this guy has 10 to 20 years left.
That's exactly right. And I think when I listen to Mr. Beast talk, like I almost am kind of like worried for him, because he talks about chasing the views in an obsessive way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, man, I wonder if like things ever went bad for you, how you'd be able to reconcile with that.
So that's what he's been a YouTuber for what, like 5 years now?
Yeah.
A pretty successful one.
Yeah.
And that is like really what he's known as an adult, because he's pretty young.
His identity is like formed around that.
Yeah, that's his identity is yeah, exactly. And so,
but I don't think he really understands that fully. Like I don't think he's as self-aware, like as somebody who's like listening to him talk. Like I've listened to like 6 hours of him talk just from him being on various popular podcasts now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of cringe at it a little bit. I'm just like, man, you're really popular. You have Mr. Beast Burger. You probably make a killing off of that. He talks about having like these snacks that he's putting in grocery stores, and I'm just like,
well, he also talked about the whole making the next video. Yeah, is what runs all those things. Yeah, and he's like, if I don't make more videos, then all those other things will fall apart.
Right. Yeah. Because that's financing everything. He's like basically just reinvesting all of his profit, all of his revenue into like.
Not only that, but it's keeping it all relevant. It's like if Mr. Beast didn't put out another video, people are going to start forgetting about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He has to stay.
No one's going to buy Beast Burgers.
In the zeitgeist. Yeah, exactly. Because they don't care.
You only buy a Beast Burger because it's Mr. Beast.
Because of the brand.
I've never heard anyone who's actually tried one, but I've never heard people talk about like they're the best burger ever. You have to try it. It's like it's Mr. Beast Burger. Yeah. You know,
I wonder if it is any good, because basically all it is existing restaurants buying the ingredients. It's like it's a ghost kitchen basically.
The ghost kitchen.
Yeah. So you sign up, they send you the ingredients, you make it in your existing kitchen, and you sell it.
So it could really range depending how they're cooking.
The quality. Because whoever's preparing could do a good job or they could do a shitty job.
You know, George Lopez came out with tacos.
Yes. Yes,
it's the same thing, right?
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's exactly. He's smart. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys, they're making tons of money. They're smart. They've aligned themselves. You know, it sounds like Mr. Beast learned a lot through his 5 years or however long he's been doing it. I'm sure he has a lot of smart people around him that are helping him make these business decisions. He has to, right? But yeah, if he became irrelevant tomorrow, I mean, I'd kind of be worried for the guy in that kind of way, because it seems like this has been.
The thing is, he is at a pretty. He's probably near his climax right now. Like if you really think about even most really popular actors or famous people, he gets more attention than most of them, right? Like the president is probably more famous, more seen than he is. But it's like, how often do people see Tom Brady doing stuff, right?
Every
Sunday for football season. And then people who are like diehard Tom Brady fans might follow him through the year. I think he posts sometimes on TikTok and stuff, but Mr. Beast puts out a video like every week. He's on gaming all the time. He's putting out TikToks, snaps, whatever stuff on Instagram. Billions of people are consuming his content all the time, like every week.
I wonder what the average NFL game, how many views an average NFL game gets.
I don't know, but I guarantee you Mr. Beast has more views than Tom Brady probably has like in his lifetime.
I don't know.
Let's see how many views Mr. Beast has.
Probably over 1 billion, right?
Oh, a million percent. Yeah.
Yeah, over 1 billion for sure. But not a lot of people know him.
Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
So
like if you ask our parents, they would have no idea who Mr. Beast is, but they know who Tom Brady is.
Yeah, for sure. But you have to think like worldwide.
Yeah.
Right. And Tom Brady is known worldwide as well, but I think to an extent, I think that Mr. Beast probably known.
He probably
more
is
worldwide.
Yeah, more worldwide. I mean, Tom. Yeah. What is the average NFL game viewership get? Because I know it's like, I mean, they own it an entire day of the week when the season is playing.
Right. So let's see.
I think we had a similar conversation about like Michael Jackson, didn't we? At one point.
It was related to how much money he made. No, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, like who's more well known? Like Michael Jackson versus like Michael Jordan versus,
I think we did.
Like, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like the Super Bowl 2020, 2022 had 100 million viewers.
Yeah.
So
and he's been in like 12 of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast in the last 30 days has had 1.17 billion views.
Oh my God. That's so many.
Just in the last 30 days.
Wow. That's insane.
I tried to find, video views. He has 22 billion.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's why I'm saying it's like, of course, that's not necessarily unique person views, but like being viewed, just, I don't know if Tom Brady's been viewed 22 billion times.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I think
to wrap it up, there's something very like gross in my mouth when, like, it's one thing to watch his videos and he's like almost a character of himself now in his videos, right? There's one thing to do it. There's another thing to just do something for the sake of doing it. I hate to bring up Joe Rogan, but he's a good example of the opposite of this. Like Joe Rogan has been doing his podcast for like, I don't know, 10 plus years now. And he's always done it not for the sake of like views. He's just kind of been doing it just to do it. In fact, he's like very open about like the early years when people were like, why the fuck is he even doing this?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. And he just did it just to do it.
I saw that video of him when he was on, I can't remember whose podcast, and he was like, man, this is really cool. You just sit here and talk.
Yeah.
He's like, I should do this.
he often talks about it in the way where he's like, I thought I was just going to be doing this. It was like a hang where I'd get high and drunk and talk shit with my friends. And he did it so long and obviously became super popular. And he really hasn't changed the way he does it. He just does it like kind of almost in the exact same way as he's always done it. And, you know, he's been fortunate enough to do that without having any producers or anybody telling him, oh, you should do it this way because you'll get more views. You should do it this way. You know, you really should talk about this more or like align this. He has advertisers, right? He does advertisers and that makes some money.
MeUndies, right?
MeUndies, yeah. Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens, what a sellout.
Yeah, exactly. But like to me, that's an example of like not doing something for the sake of the views and really doing something authentically, because you want to do it and you have fun doing it. I'm not saying like Mr. Beast doesn't have fun doing it. I mean, he talks about, you know, the grind of it, of like making those videos. There's like where he did a video on an island basically, and he said it was like the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
But he was doing it. But Joe Rogan talks about like, he's like, as soon as this doesn't become fun, I'm going to stop doing it. I don't really care.
Right.
Like that's how I want people to like do things. That's how I want people to make things, like authentically, like pouring yourself into it creatively, not chasing popularity, chasing clicks, chasing the views. Like that's how we have Fox News. That's how we get to CNN. That's how those things became so corrupt, is because they were basically super popular. They didn't really need to do anything to like get clicks, and all of a sudden things weren't going so great, and now they're fucking these like big corporate monsters that fucking create divisiveness and fear in our country for the sake of profit and money. And that's where something as innocent as Mr. Beast can become so greedy and corrupt really quick.
Yeah.
It's because you're chasing something that's like seems so inauthentic, and just for the sake of profit and views and self-preservation.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Fox News, CNN, like those are journalism outlets, where they began as journalism outlets. So those are hard to compare because people see them as legitimate news sources, whereas Mr. Beast is like, people don't think he's the news.
No, but he's entertainment, and
yeah,
so is Fox News, and so is CNN.
Yeah, but I think it's the same as like in Hollywood, like people, the producers and directors and whatnot, they make things based on what they think people want to see.
Yeah, but
not always
that's
what they
in
want
Hollywood.
to do.
Hollywood operates in this is no less corrupt than anything else.
Well,
the through line here isn't like news versus entertainment versus it's capturing attention.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants, is to capture attention.
Yeah,
because
that's
it
their
sells.
job.
Because it sells.
Yeah.
It's all for the money.
Yeah, it's kind of like in your own business that you get paid for. Like you want to capture people's attention so they go into a store or to a restaurant.
100%. And if tomorrow the customer is like, I want, you know, or a majority of our customers were like, I want you to sell fucking lettuce wrap burritos, we'd be like, fuck yeah, we're going to sell lettuce wrap burritos.
Yeah, exactly. So to Mr. Beast, like that's his job, is to entertain people, and he knows what people like, what it takes to entertain people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's his job. That's why he does it that way. Joe Rogan,
that's not his job. The thing is, like if I had a problem with like one of our restaurants selling, you know, lettuce wrap burritos, I could just leave. I feel like Mr. Beast doesn't have that option. He can't just be like, if YouTube was like, Mr. Beast, we want you to sell Aquafina, and he's like, I have a problem with that because Aquafina is owned by, I don't know, Nestle or whatever, and they fucking are a terrible company, and I'm not going to do that. And then they're like, well,
well,
we're gonna shut down your channel and shadow ban you, he'd be like, all right, fuck it. Where's Aquafina? Who do I talk to?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he would. Like, but the same is true for Joe Rogan. Like, if Spotify actually did say, hey, you can't talk about those things, then he says he would quit.
Yeah,
but like Mr. Beast hasn't said that he wouldn't. Like, he hasn't said whether he would or wouldn't quit either, or he hasn't said that. So like, we can't assume that he would.
No, but he has extensively talked about how to like he's watched like countless hours of videos on YouTube, and he's figured it out. He's figured out like what makes a good video.
Yeah, but he's not saying he's doing anything unethical though.
Well, obviously, why would he say that?
Right, but that's what you're saying is like if YouTube came to him and they were
I'm saying the environment of which he operates under makes it incredibly easy to be corrupt in the same way that like Fox News and CNN do.
Totally.
Because he's not making a fucking video about counting to a million because he's like obsessed with counting to a million, or he really enjoys counting numbers. You know what I'm saying?
So the problem you have is people who are like striving to get more views.
Exactly. Like what I really like about what you and Sarah doing is like you guys really actually do like traveling and hiking and outdoor stuff, and so it was easy for you guys to, put that onto a platform,
right,
and make something of it. Like you're not doing it because of like the views and the clicks. Like that's a nice thing to do and to make some money off of it is really awesome because it enables you guys to do more of that.
Right.
But that's different.
But for instance, if that was our source of income, and then Instagram was like, we're going to make 60-second. We're going to prioritize 60-second videos or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we don't like making 60-second videos. We either have to make 60-second videos to be relevant on the platform or lose our income.
Yeah, but I think you've talked about that, right? You've talked about how you want to build your blog so you don't have to rely on, like, that's the end goal, right, for you guys. Yeah. So like that's the issue is like you don't want to be captured by a platform, because all of a sudden now you're like having to like keep up with the times and be super, like you don't want to have to like do all that work of like figuring out the new algorithm and doing this and doing that. You want to be able to do what you love on your own terms, so without any
Mr. Beast's problem is that he's mostly relevant.
He's captured by YouTube. Yeah. He's like basically like their slave.
Yeah.
like you cannot argue.
What's probably happening is that the government agencies in the U.S. are spying on everyone through Mr. Beast's video. He's like, yeah, all you have to do is download this app and keep your finger on the app. Last person to take the finger off loses or wins. And then little do we know is that the NSA is capturing that finger data, getting all the fingerprints.
I think you figured it out.
Fucking asshole. Okay, I agree with you now.
All right, fair enough.
Well, hopefully
he's entertaining.
He hears this conversation and he changes his ways.
I'm glad he's out there. I mean,
somebody's gonna fill the
exactly.
Well, I don't know. I think there's become. It's almost like there's a views inequality now, just like how there's a monetary inequality in our
he's the 1%er of
YouTube's giving him too many views. You know what I mean? Like they're showing, if you went on YouTube right now, you and don't have an account, YouTube has no data on you, they will show you Mr. Beast video and like many other very popular
I wonder how long it takes
YouTubers.
I feel like you just like signed up, no Google account, so they don't have like your preferences and like how long it would take for them to suggest a Mr. Beast video.
I think immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do it because I'm sure even if I go in incognito or something, they still have the data on me. Yeah. Based on the IP address.
You got to go to you got to go to Best Buy, buy a new Apple, go to an internet cafe if there is one.
Connect to a VPN.
Even then, like if you go to like Starbucks, it's like, well, majority of people using this IP address from Starbucks watches these videos. Like there's you can't.
Yeah, they have a whole profile. They could probably figure out it's me somehow. By the way,
Probably.
I fucking type the question or like type in something into YouTube.
Welcome back, Myles.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I can't. Not free anymore. Yeah.
TikTok has admitted that I think it's like the upper management of executives have said that its staff members have the ability to decide what trends and what doesn't.
Yeah, I also think TikTok like doesn't know what a lot of TikTok does too.
There's so much. There's too.
Like, do you remember?
Can't manage it at scale.
Do you remember when they basically said they were like, we know that some data goes to China, but we don't know what data. They were just like,
that, but
there's like a stream between the U.S. and China, and there's some connection. Yeah. So it's like, but that's the thing with those platforms is it is true. I highly doubt that you have people representing those companies going to the actual creators and saying like, we want you to create content in this way or something, but it's very evident in what they promote. If you create a video that does horribly compared to your normal engagement, you're going to quickly realize that's not what YouTube or TikTok wanted you to see or wanted people to see. And those platforms, like their sole purpose is to just keep people on the platform. So like they're trying to predict what keeps people there longest. So if I go on TikTok, I watch one video and then I immediately get off TikTok, I'm going to count against that video. Like it's unfortunate for that person who made that video, but I'm going to be one of the views that basically said I didn't stay on TikTok after I watched this video. And it's basically going to downvote that video against all the other people who saw it. And that's basically how they work. That and like trending things. So if you put certain keywords in, also
their suggestions are on point too. Like
and TikTok has a really good SEO as well. So like you can actually Google something and it will show you TikTok videos related to what you Googled.
Really?
Yeah. And you can even use TikTok's own search function. That's the difference. One of the big differences between TikTok and Instagram is that Instagram has like pretty much zero SEO. It's horrible. If you search something in Instagram, if you're searching a specific place, you'll find what you want. But otherwise, it's like very bad at predicting what you're actually trying to search for.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
And I don't think, to my knowledge at least, you can Google something and it will recommend something from TikTok. But it 100% does that for TikTok. Instagram.
Yeah.
It does it for TikTok. Yeah. So weirdly, I don't get it because Instagram's been around for so long, but I think that Instagram has really taken advantage of the platform itself and like not put a lot of, I think it became like a Twitter.
Yeah, it's like it's going through the normal cycle of social media platform. MySpace went through it. Facebook is currently on the decline. I mean, has been. I'd say Instagram's next, right? TikTok will eventually go through that. There's going to be something else that pops up in the near future, that becomes the next TikTok.
And even so, like YouTube now has something called Shorts. Yeah, every platform has the short form videos now,
and they all look the same too. Like if you're on you're on the app, you're like sometimes I'm on Reddit, which is just a lot of cross linking, cross posting. So you'll see you'll have like a TikTok video pop up, and then you'll have a Reels from Instagram or a YouTube short, and it's all the same controls look the same. Like sometimes like, is this a TikTok? Oh, no, this is Reels. It's so weird. They're all just like incestuous in that kind of way.
Yeah, it's just like anything else, like email clients all try to copy off, and it's like whichever one's more popular, you try to look like that one. So I think I feel like to me, like Snapchat was kind of the first short form video.
Yeah,
that was really, I mean, like Vine and stuff like that you had, but that was really adopted by people. And
I think it was Vine then Snapchat probably.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if Vine probably had been around longer, I would say that. It's just that it was like, I feel like it had a short life, and
maybe it was ahead of its time.
It was definitely ahead of its time. Yeah. Totally, because I don't think as many people used it.
Yeah, it's weird to think about. It's when I downloaded TikTok for the first time, I was like, this is Vine.
Yeah.
This is what Vine should have been.
Yeah.
Basically, it was the 6 seconds was too short.
Definitely.
But it caught fire because of that. It just needed to innovate a little bit.
I think it was probably the best example of that. And then I think Snapchat was the one that really got a lot of funding and was able to keep it going, and people really, really adopted that one. Like everyone had Snapchat.
Yeah.
A lot of people had Vine, but I feel like not everyone had it. And also the phones weren't as good back then when Vine was around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
What was it? iPhone 5 or whatever?
Yeah, it was
or like 4 or 5 when Vine came out.
Yeah.
It was a tiny screen.
Yeah, it was small.
I feel like once the screen started getting bigger, people were adopting watching videos more.
Also, like faster network speeds.
Yeah, network, so you can watch it on the go. Like remember when you had a one gig of data?
Oh my God, it'd be impossible to scroll through Vine. Yeah. You couldn't. You had to be on your Wi-Fi network. Yeah,
yeah.
It's definitely enabled us to reach it just about anywhere.
So they did that, and then now YouTube has come out with Shorts, which is really new. Actually, it was like I think 2021 maybe even that it came out.
I think, yeah.
And then it really didn't integrate that well. Like in order to post a short, you literally posted a YouTube video and then put hashtag shorts for short.
Really? And then it would convert it
and it would then show it in the shorts feed.
Now, shorts, is it like in the same ratio as your screen as TikTok is, or is it still in the 16 by 9?
It's 16:9 is the one that.
But
TikTok
it's like
uses,
portrait
right?
instead of landscape.
Portrait. Yeah,
gotcha.
It's portrait. So yeah, it's exactly just like the others.
Yeah, but if you posted a 16 by 9 landscape and then did hashtag shorts, did it just black bar it, or did it like do a zoom in?
Yeah, I don't know. It may have been that it had to be a certain format,
okay.
Right? So maybe that's how it was done. But I know that's how it was done at first, and then they started making it basically separate, where it was like you could then there was a button to say like upload a short. Because if you Google right now, even how do I upload a short, you'll find a lot of articles and stuff on the very beginning of when shorts came out. And people are like, you got to add the hashtag, which is no longer true. You don't have to anymore. But you'll still see a lot of people putting the hashtag. And
where did you put the hashtag in, like the description?
The caption in the title.
Oh, the title.
Of the video.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you would say something like slept on a frozen lake, whatever, and then hashtag shorts.
Gotcha.
And it's gotten a lot better, but one of the, I think, C-level people at YouTube actually said at some point that the people who are developing the shorts feature and the people who develop the core YouTube feature, YouTube itself, like they don't communicate. The teams.
Yeah,
they probably do now. They were saying they were trying to improve it, but there was like YouTube was like, let's do shorts,
siloed,
completely separate team, like have nothing, and then they created it, and it was like, I mean, what a horrible way to integrate that kind of feature into your platform.
Yeah, I guess when you have a company that big where departments don't talk to each other, that's how you start to have that situation.
Yeah, where it's like Twitter. It's like, can you create an edit button?
Yeah.
And you're like, in 5 years.
We'll need 2 years. We'll need 2 to 5 years. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me?
And you're like,
some guy just built an entire Twitter platform in like 2 days.
Yeah.
It's just like.
That's the thing is, I think that's one of the reasons why TikTok really succeeded, is because it came up so quickly, and it wasn't. What TikTok ended up being was not what they even developed it for to begin with.
No, and that's the thing that we talked about before, is like it starts as a niche thing, and then it starts to just open its I guess its doors up wider to a more general audience. I think it was dance it was lip sync videos.
Yeah, music videos basically. And that was actually the reason why I didn't download TikTok for so long, is because they had a massive marketing budget, because I saw their ads all the time years ago, all the time. And it was always someone lip syncing to some video and like
dancing,
acting something out. And I was like, I literally have no interest in watching this kind of video. It's just not what I like. I know a lot of people like it. There's a lot of it. That's a really big thing to do on TikTok still. But
is it?
Yeah, it is. Well, dancing videos.
Yeah.
It's a huge
That's
thing.
when I first downloaded it. It was like a lot of dancing videos. It was a lot. And then everybody started doing content just for TikTok, and then it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah. So
I deleted it off my phone because I was spending way too much time on it. It was starting to impede on some of my just taking too much of my time.
Yeah.
And I also found it to like I think it was like the GPT thing when that started to become a super everybody was making content about it and stuff on TikTok. And I think I like watched one and I liked it, and then I'll watch another one and I like that, and then literally I think I spent the next like 15 minutes watching TikToks. I want to say like 80 to 90% of the videos I was getting was just on that.
Yeah, that's kind of going back to what I think one of the main problems on TikTok is, which is it will show you what you like, but it will overshow you what you like.
Yeah, it's like, okay, enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
I liked one Call of Duty video,
but
I don't really like watching Call of Duty videos.
Yeah.
You know?
That's like, that's what it needs more.
That's what it needs to be able to recognize is like when you want to save a video, like a video, maybe you want to show it to someone later, but you're not really that interested in it.
Just give me a little bit more of that. And then if I start, that's why like, I was just like, I don't need this. I'm not on anything else. I don't use Snapchat. I don't use Facebook. I use it for the marketplace if I want to sell some shit. Instagram, I just use for this show. Basically, I just post, the thumbnails and the drink photos for everybody. Besides that, I don't browse on anything. I use Reddit. Okay, I guess that's a social media platform.
Yeah, it's different from all the rest though, because actually someone asked me recently why I'm not trying to monetize myself on Reddit.
Yeah,
like I am on Instagram and whatnot. And the reason is because I don't think you really can. It's like Reddit is not. It can be a place where you post a photo. You can go on subreddits that are like, I took a picture.
Yeah.
Right. But like they don't want you advertising things. They want to see they want to see exactly what the subreddit's about, which is you took a cool photo. They want to see the photo, and they don't want to see your Instagram account name.
No, they
don't want to know about a brand that the clothing you were wearing.
Yeah,
they just want to see the picture.
Yeah,
and so I think Reddit's a different place where I think people mainly are linking things and then talking about those things.
It's a way to try to get other people to other places if that's what you're trying to do. But I agree. You couldn't like monetize it. There's no way to like I went for Original Kin, the audio drama that Cole and I did. I tried to like do a few things where I would try to like promote it, and people like you just wouldn't get allowed to, like a lot of the subreddits. The way it works is you try to post something, it gets reviewed first by a moderator, or it gets posted immediately, and then if the moderators find it to be like of quality content, they will allow it. Otherwise, they will remove you, which I think is the way everything should be. Like it's almost like a decentralization of of social media. Like it's not like Reddit isn't curated by Reddit. Like Reddit isn't like pushing things. They might be on some of the general feeds that happen, but generally it's all done based on communities. It's like community based. It's all self-governed by each subreddit. Each subreddit has basically a board of directors, or like a what they call moderators. And these are like the most like selfless, like they don't get paid to do this, which is like the brilliant thing about it is like these people aren't there to make money. They're there because they like doing that. They really like the whole, and maybe there's some people doing it because they like the power trip of it, having that kind of power. But it really is, it allows you to see truly the content that you're subscribing to, not some of this bullshit garbage. Because if you do, you get quickly shot down, or you get downvoted. Right. That's the great thing is the downvote.
And then you lose karma, and then you can't post
exactly. Yeah,
it's a good system.
It really should. It rewards you for good quality content, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah. So, for instance, if on TikTok I could I mean, I can tell TikTok. Like, I don't want to see the video of the lady with her baby talking about.
Is it like a little? Money. What is it? Like a button that you say I don't want to see more of it. I don't want to see this type of content or something. Or
but I think
I guess you could report it too, maybe.
Yeah. But for some reason, like, she can just post it again, and it will still get the same amount of attention. I don't know
on
why.
Like 2 different other accounts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like. Again, it's like on Reddit, it's like you can post things, and if you get enough downvotes, Reddit will basically be like, we're not going to let you post for like a couple days.
Yes.
Because you are an idiot.
And they're really, really good at catching you for upvoting your own content.
Yeah.
Or having like your friends upvote your content. Yeah. They're like, we removed your post because it became fishy.
Sounds like you have some experience.
I did. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's good. I actually I like Reddit. Most platforms have like one or two things that they're really good at. Like Instagram is good for seeing pictures of places you're going to travel to.
Yes.
So like type in a restaurant name and you'll see pictures of it, and if it looks, or like a bar looks cool or not, or a park, whatever. And then Reddit is good for asking a question like in Google, and then just typing in what is life, like what's the meaning of life, Reddit, and then you'll get the bunch of feeds, and then you click on them and you just see what people say about
I also find a lot of times, even if you don't add the Reddit, that like on the first, there will be like 1 or 2 links to Reddit on the first page of Google.
Right.
Yeah. It's just it's almost like it's its own thing in that kind of way.
Yeah, it's the same as TikTok. They have a decent SEO on their platform, so it's easy for Google to decide what that post is about.
Right.
And that other people who have gone to it have liked it.
Yeah.
Because like if you type in something into Google and you click on a link and you spend 5 seconds there and click back and then go to the next link, that tells Google that result didn't really match that search.
Right.
So they'll kind of change it. So obviously it's like people who are clicking on those posts, they're finding the answer, which is pretty common. When I type in something Reddit and then find the answer, it's common that I get what I wanted. Also,
like a lot of Reddit is text, which is also easier for Google to scrape.
Oh yeah.
And SEO in comparison to something like Instagram, which is like mostly just photos, and it's harder for videos. It's harder for Google to be like, what is this exactly?
You can put a description, which is common for a lot of content creators to put a lot of longer descriptions, but for most other people, they just have a very short, to the point. Like they usually won't say much about maybe where the picture was from. They'll just say something like, love like sunsets.
Yeah. Google wants your context. Yeah. Because that's how it's going to basically rank you or decide whether or not this is of quality content and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's true.
Also Reddit has a lot of links, which is also great for feeding the Google SEO. Like the more like metadata and links you have to other like trustworthy sites, the higher ranked you'll get on Google.
And backward too. So it's even more important is the backlinks, and a lot of people do backlink to Reddit, like even news websites and stuff. You know,
right? Exactly.
It's the same with like Twitter. It's like a lot of news websites. Like if you read any article about Elon Musk in the last 3 years, there's guaranteed to be a link to something he said on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, and that's one of the reasons why Wikipedia ranks so high.
Yeah.
There's so many backlinks on Wikipedia. That's like basically all it is. Really.
I feel like whenever I search something and Wikipedia is not in the first
you're
page,
like,
I'm like, what the fuck? And I type in wiki after it, and then it pops up.
Yeah. It's so true.
Like if you put in somebody's name, Wikipedia should always be in the first set of results.
Yeah, it should. It's like the golden standard for information, basically, on the internet. It's now, then second Reddit, probably.
Yeah. And then like IMDb or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some other content stuff like that.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
If you're searching like why is the U.S. government bad, WikiLeaks pops up.
Yeah. They're like, let me tell you. There's like Snopes and stuff like that.
Snopes,
Yelp and all those other things that are like highly like accredited and things like that.
Yeah, I always wondered about Snopes. Like a long time ago, people would always say, "Oh yeah, Snopes said like if it's true or not," you know, or any of the fact checkers and stuff. And I was always like, "How do they know?"
Yeah.
How do they know?
Yeah,
sure?
and some people will be like, Snopes is corrupt, like Politico is corrupt, or it leans one way or the other. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it's the internet, guys. Like it's just it's a matter of like, do you trust Snopes more often than you don't trust it?
Yeah.
Then you can. There's like a higher degree of trust that it's true.
Yeah, it's like the only other trustworthy thing I guess you could put your money on is like individuals that you truly do trust, like instead of like organizations. Like a lot of people are going to like what's that Substack, because it's like just people instead of like organizations full of like tons of people. And so if you trust a particular journalist or a writer or whatever, you can go directly to them, you know. Instead of like something like Politico, which is just an organization full of like tons of humans with diverse opinions and leanings. And
that's I mean, that's what it is about the internet and what's on Facebook. And like anytime someone's like when we see information, it's just like talking to someone. If you see an article on Facebook and you go and look at the article, it's like the way you gauge if it's being truthful or not is based on what your experience with that website is. It's the same as my interaction with you. It's like, if I don't know you, I'm not really going to trust you. You may say something and I'll think it's interesting and maybe I look it up later, but I'm not going to go tell other people, oh yeah, this happened, you know, or like, oh, where'd you hear that from? Oh, this guy. Trust me, he's legit. But if it like is you and you're my brother and you tell me something, I'm more likely to believe that it's true because I trust you and you usually don't lie to me. And it's like the same with if I watch CNN and then I start noticing that CNN is stretching the truth.
They made some mistakes,
this and that. Then I'm like, I don't really trust CNN anymore. I still might get some news from them, but I'll be a lot less trusting of whether it's truth or not. And so that's what people need to apply to the internet is just, if you really trust a website and the people who run the website, then you know that's okay. But if it's just like random articles that you find online, don't trust it at all.
Yeah, there's a cost. There certainly is. There's like a cost to that kind of thing, you know, and the more you trust something, the lower the cost, basically, you know, of it. So
yeah. And if it's Wikipedia, it's always true.
Always.
Doesn't matter
never wrong.
If it is just moderated by Russian people, it's true.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to?
You ever donated to Wiki?
I have never donated to it.
Wow. The
reason is because I'm poor.
Don't believe you. But I have. I don't want to brag or anything, but I threw him a couple bucks.
All right.
I threw him a couple. I was like, how many bucks?
Yeah.
Undisclosed amount.
150. It's like I gave them 25. It cost them more in credit card fees than you gave them.
Let's just say that I'll be deducting that from my tax returns. as a charitable donation.
Yeah, I would give to them. It's just, you know, like I don't want to give out my credit card, you know, my credit card.
You don't trust, this goes back to trust.
I don't trust the internet, you know, I trust them. Just don't trust.
Right.
I don't trust the payment system. Could be a vulnerability in it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't pay for anything over the internet.
No, you shouldn't.
Except Amazon.
And Hollister.com.
Yeah. American Eagle.
Yeah. And
only the outlet though.
BrightShinyButtPlugs.com.
Yeah, and what's that? Oshkosh Bagosh.
Oh yeah. Claire's.
But not for
Claire's.com.
Me. For my nephew. Claire's.
Yeah.
I've been to Claire's.
Yep.
You know, I went to Castle Rock outlets the other day.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pretty good outlets there.
Not bad.
Yeah,
but you know, Claire's there.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But they have a lot of stores that I wouldn't have expected to be there. And like Black Diamond, the outdoor adventure company, like climbing and shit like that.
Yeah.
They have a store there.
Yeah.
And quite a few other outdoor recreation companies. And the company, I don't know how to pronounce it, Arctrex, I think it's called. It's a really expensive jacket, like winter clothing store. They have an outlet there.
Aren't they owned by Burton?
I don't know. I don't know if they are. I would find that odd, but it could
There's
be.
a company. There's a company that starts with an A that's owned by Burton. But
Maybe. We went in there, and their stuff is still really expensive in there. Like, you're gonna pay $700 to $1,000 for a jacket and snow pants or something, right?
Yeah.
And there's no returns.
Yeah.
And there's no warranty
Because it's a outlet, right?
There's no warranty.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of outlets let you return stuff, but yeah,
They do.
But this one, they're just like, you are gonna still spend a lot of money on it. It's not that much of a discount. You're probably getting like, I think the prices were probably like 15 to 20% cheaper.
Yeah, I like going to the Nike store there because I find that they have like better deals on their stuff. Like if I want a hoodie, it's Nike hoodie.
Do you ever wonder if that Nike outlet is one of the ones that creates clothes just for the outlet, or if it's a true outlet?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it is
totally,
one of those.
Totally. I mean, no, I don't know, but
I'm not really I hate that kind of thing. You know?
I mean, it's like it's having like a sub brand. It's like, no different from like,
Kohl's.
Yeah, exactly. Like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, all those like discount clothing stores.
I think a lot of them started out as true discount clothes, where it was like, it's literally the stuff from last year or the years before, and they get all the stuff that the other stores didn't sell. And then, which is actually true still for some of them. Sierra, I have seen actual legit good stuff at Sierra before. Yeah,
like Eddie Brower clothing is there. Yeah.
Not all the stuff for sure, but and like Marmot, sometimes you'll see Marmot stuff there, and a few others. But yeah, a lot of those stores, you buy something that's a good brand and it's shit quality.
Yeah, it's just like not good.
You just know.
Yeah, it disintegrates as soon as you wash it like once. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the worst too about even buying like nice clothing, is that then you have to really take care of it.
You have to like read the tag and like know how to wash it.
Yeah, it's like tumble dry low or air dry it. Those are the worst ones.
No, it's like when the worst ones is like having to take it out and like flat dry it. Like I only have so many flat surfaces. I have like doing laundry and I'm taking out. It's just lay flat to dry. No, because if you hang it, the hanger will make an indent on the top, and then you all of a sudden you have these little pointy things on your shoulders. So you have to like, it'll say on the tag like lay flat to dry, and so like I have like 6 things I had to lay flat to dry. I ain't got like all these like surfaces, and I'm not gonna throw it on my bed. This wet fucking hoodie on my bed. It just sounds gross. Like
I've never even seen that before. That's crazy.
No, anything like wool, you can't like hang it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess I probably don't have any like actual
you're missing out, dude.
Wool jackets. I have wool stuff. Like I accidentally dried a wool beanie. And
does it become a baby beanie now?
It still fits on my head, but it's not as good quality now, and it's definitely smaller. Yeah. And it was like $50 beanie.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck, I really messed up that one.
You messed up by buying a $50 beanie, so.
No, it's so good. It's warm. Also, I didn't buy it.
Yeah, well, fair enough. You ruined a free thing.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
But it's a free thing that I didn't have before that I needed.
They were like, this was a $50. And you go to Sierra and you're like, God damn it, it's $5.
Oh, yeah. Well, $5, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm out of my drink.
This was a tasty drink. I'm gonna make this again.
People think we put alcohol in this, but we don't actually.
Yeah, it's faux alcohol.
How can you think that we've done like 40 episodes and we drink every single one of them? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. They're 100. I'm
Wednesday
wasted
night.
Right now off one drink.
Work tomorrow.
I probably don't. I'm blacked out halfway through this episode. I don't remember. I think we talked about Mr. Beast or something.
This bottle here started out full and it's now almost empty.
That's a lie. It was actually very syrupy when I was pouring it.
Was it?
Yeah, you could tell. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It may be because I had it in the fridge.
Could be.
Huh, I wonder.
Huh. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Follow us on Instagram if you want to get the latest drink recipes and make them at home if you want to do that while you listen or watch. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up on all the platforms. Send us a link. Go to luckybroadcasting.com. Send us if you have a suggestion on what we should drink next, land us a message. Hit us up, DM us, do whatever. Slide into my DMs. I don't care.
And don't forget to go onto our OnlyFans account.
We don't have it set up. Is that a bag of spaghetti?
What?
Did you bring a fucking bag of spaghetti?
No.
That's super fucking weird.
Nobody can see. Oh, shit. Been exposed.
You saw it here first. See, if you guys watch the YouTube, you get to see Myles just bring out a bag of spaghetti.
It's comical.
It's comical. It's
I
comedy.
made that spaghetti just for that bit.
Did you?
I fucking forgot about it the whole time.
I'm so glad. At least you brought it up just right at the end.
I know.
If you want to keep up with Myles and Sarah on Instagram, there's Adventuring Eyes or adventuringeyes.com for their blog. And until next time, y'all, adios.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Bye.
Fuck the podcast.